Good morning, besties. My name is Jess, and I'm your Witchy best friend. And I'm here today to discuss the Aliens Among Us tag. That was part of the Sisterhood group initial tag with Amethyst Ascension, Courtney at Aries Witchcraft, and then Carla with Mystical Laws, Mystical Musings. I wanted to join because I have some stories I'd like to tell. Um, so this is Aliens Among Us, and I've had some experiences in my life that I'm a little nervous to talk to you guys about, but we're gonna do this. Um, so when I was like uh, 6, 7, we moved out to a farm in the quite little middle of a cornfield, um, and so like the strange stuff started happening when we were there. Um, The first incident, though, I'm going to talk about is like the trigger for it all, the trigger for everything, it seems to be, is this missing time event I had when I was 8 at a Girl Scout overnight retreat thing. Um, we were at a Girl Scout event, and we were doing all kinds of different activities. It was like a sleepover thing, and I distinctly remember that I was going to go into this other room and watch a movie. I remember walking up the steps to go to the room, and the next thing I remember is it was like 5 hours later, and I was awake. I woke up in my sleeping bag on the total opposite side of where everything was. I have no idea what happened. I have no idea how I got to where I was. Um, I can't explain it, but I remember the next morning when I woke up, and I was like, we were getting ready for the day to like head home and things. I was putting socks on, and there was a weird scar on my ankle that I had never seen before. Um, so that's weird. I have other things too, like living out on the farm. We lived in a trailer on my aunt and uncle's property, and so we had like gardens and orchards and a lot of farmland and a lot of like woods behind us, and we had animals and things. But I lived in a trailer. So in the summertime, when it was too hot, I would have a little tent in our front yard, and I would sleep out in the tent because it was cooler than sleeping in the trailer. There were so many times that I woke up not in the tent anymore. I would wake up in our orchard. I'd wake up in the shed that we had that we kept our cats in. Um, just all the time, just like falling asleep in the tent and waking up in weird places. This would happen in the winter too. Like my mother thought I sleptwalk a lot. And there was lots of times I would wake up like in our living room. I'd wake up on the kitchen. I mean, this is like when I'm like 10, 11, all the way up until I was about 13 or 14. And I had a lot of memories of that sleepwalking period where I thought things were on fire or I was looking for fire. I have a lot of images of like seeing fire while I was sleepwalking. Um, there's other incidences too, like I would be falling asleep and I would see these, what I thought, the only way I can describe it is they looked like tornadoes. I always call them tornadoes in my room. But they were in that tornado shape, but they were shimmery as they swirled around. And I often wonder if that was like them coming to get me. I know a lot of people talk about how aliens are like interdimensional and how they can bring us here and bring us there. You know, I wish they put me back in the right spot though when they did that. There's just a lot of times where I just woke up wherever on the farm. At least I woke up on the farm somewhere. There was another incident when I was a teenager. This is probably pre-cancer. So this is probably 18 years old. Me and my cousin, we had gone and hung out with a friend of mine. And we were driving back out to the farm because he was going to stay the night at my house and we were just going to hang out. And I want you to keep in mind, like, I lived on a farm. You got to drive up a quarter-mile driveway to get to my house. This was the middle of winter. This was January. We had a ton of snow that year. I mean, like 24 inches or something. And it was below zero outside easily. We pull up my driveway, and where my trailer sat, you could see off to the side a little bit, down into like the path that would take you into the woods, like down to our picnic grounds and down to the wooded area back there. And we pull up, and me and my cousin see a bunch of lights in the woods. They were like pink and yellow and white and blue, and they just were dancing around like somebody was having a rave or a party, but it was, below zero outside. I mean, who in the woods? Who was in the woods having a party? We couldn't figure it out. We booked it into my house, and we stayed up all night long, just kind of waiting for something to come knock on the door, I guess. I don't know. I mean, nothing happened, but one of the strangest things I've ever seen, like out there, like just, you see the lights in the sky out there, and it's a very weird atmosphere. Also, during that period of growing up on the farm, like my younger years, once I started at that new school, I ended up going into what they called speech therapy. And doing more research, it seems like it might have been like a GATE program subsidy, and it was around that time all these weird things started happening. I started hearing like voices in my ear, of people like screaming and yelling. My psychic abilities really kicked in during that. I might make another video discussing like my GATE thing. It's still something I'm trying to unpack. I mean, it's really like a rabbit hole I've just dived down within the last few months trying to sort that all out, because I remember the test. I remember untying yarn. I remember this woman in her suit with this gray suit with a skirt carrying a briefcase in. I remember not really doing speech therapy. I remember doing like memory cards and like different tests and things like that. And so I don't know. That's a weird chapter in my life too. But the final thing I want to discuss with all these weird, crazy stories is my dreams. I have weird and crazy dreams, and I always have my entire life. Like I have like prophetic dreams. I have a lot of deja vu, things like that. So I've always dreamt of this boy. There's just been this boy in my dreams named Timothy. And I've dreamt about him since I can remember. And in my dreams, he was the same age as me. We like grew up together in my dreams. And I've been doing a lot of meditating. I've been doing a lot of like spirit work and like just, trying to come to terms with like what he is after speaking with some of you lovely ladies. You gave me the idea that he might be one of my guides. And I think that's quite a possibility. Like I've through like different meditation sessions and things, I've been able to get in better contact with him, and things are definitely changing. But he's definitely somebody guiding me on this like journey. I actually had a dream not that long ago, a couple months ago, where I was going through, in my dream they called it a white room experiment, and I had to go down this hall to get to this room, and I was carrying a box. And like as I'm going down the hall, you can hear all these noises from behind these doors. People screaming, people yelling, just very terrifying. And I was very, very scared to go into this room. So I decided I was not doing this. I was going to leave, so I escaped out the building. And then I had two people chasing after me, a man and a woman. And like they looked human, but they didn't. Like their faces were not like human faces. They were very just basic, like just drawn on, I don't know, basic faces. But they were chasing after me, and they got into my house, and my boyfriend had thrown one of them out the window, and then the male stopped me and said, "We're aliens. You need to stop. We're aliens. We need you to stop and descend." And I woke up. And that's kind of like what triggered all of this insanity for me. Like these rabbit holes I've been going down. I'm trying to get more in touch. And like, I think the more I'm diving into this, the more I'm realizing who this Timothy figure is, that he's my guide, that he's an alien form of some kind, that they've been, like, I think they were possibly taking me and like doing things. And I often wonder if that's why I had the cancer at such a young age. Um, I mean, I don't know, this whole thing sounds crazy. And I sit here and I have to wonder, like, am I crazy? But then, like, these other people tell these stories and, like, similar things happen to them. I don't know. But I'm going to do a spread. I'm going to flip this whole camera around. And I'm going to do the missing time spread and see if I can get just a little bit more answers on the insanity that has been my life. Like, I don't even know. Hold on. All right. So I don't have a whole lot of decks to choose from. But I was so graciously given this mythical goddess deck from Selena, which is Essence of the Moon. I'm sure everybody knows who she is at this point in time. She's like super popular, and we just all flip and adore this girl. But yeah, she gave me this, and I love this deck. This deck's fantastic. And then this is also kind of Selena's fault too. She did a walkthrough of the Mystic Martian Oracle, and I fell in love with this deck. And so I just recently got it. I've been playing around with it for a few weeks now, and I probably will eventually do like my own walkthrough and like my own honest impression of it. But these are the two I decided that I was going to use, and honestly, the only two that I have that are kind of woo-woo like that. So I'm going to use the Oracle for like clarifiers, but we'll mainly stick with the tarot. So the first question in the missing time spread is called the Veil. What is blocking the memory of my missing time? What is blocking the memory of my missing time? The Moon. Illusion, doubt, things like that. Okay. That kind of makes a little sense. So let's stick her there. The trigger. The symbol or event tied to the forgotten moments. I mean, yeah, that makes sense to me. Because like a lot of this stuff happened at night. The trigger, symbol, or event tied to the forgotten moments. I don't do reversals. Joy. So that'd be the 9 of Cups. Interesting. I mean, it was a happy time. I mean, I was happy living out in the farm, Interesting. Okay. Number 3 is presence. Who or what was there? Who or what was there? Who or what was there during this missing time? You know better, cards. I only take one of you. I want one. Go with this. I'm holding them upside down. So this would be the wise woman. I wonder if that's like my mom. Because she always tried to be like, oh, it's nothing, Jess. You're just sleepwalking. Things like this happen. You know what? The environment. Where contact happened. Where did contact happen? Like you. So it'd be the 8 of Wands. Expression. This is something I'm probably going to have to like journal on. Maybe put it into my AI. Okay. 5th. The method how they reached me. The method on how they reached me. Too many. The method and how they reached me. The Fool. Yeah, it was something new for me for sure. It was a new journey. I mean, I just started at this new school. I just moved out to this new place. Starting this new life out on a farm from living in like a little city. Not like a city, like a little town. I mean, compared to here, it's like a city. Okay. Number 6, the purpose. Why they initiated contact. Why did they initiate contact? I just dropped them all, Jess, why don't you? Oh my lord, I'm so sorry if you hear her. The dog's a psycho sometimes, but that's my beloved Mitzi Roo out there barking her head off for who knows what reason. Why did they initiate contact? Why did they initiate contact? Why did they initiate contact? Who was this? Was it the government? So this would be the Two of Pentacles, cycles. Was my turn? Did my mom get abducted, I wonder too? She had stories as well. But like, she's not here to tell them, and I'm not telling them for her. Why did they initiate contact? All right, number 7, memory fragment. What crucial detail is trying to resurface? What crucial detail is trying to resurface? I love this card. It's just like one of my favorites to pull, actually. White Buffalo Calf Woman, Sacred Fire. So I've noticed that in this deck, the Judgment card and the Courage card are reversed because this is Leo, and I know Leo is like the Courage in the Major Arcana, Sacred Fire, and I know that speaks like about courage and about coming. I know this card speaks about like her coming forth from like this giant white calf, and like bringing harmony and balance and things. So what crucial detail is trying to resurface? I think maybe the fact that I'm coming through this, things are starting to come to light for me. And this has been like fantastic. Like this is all these different things. And while I feel like I'm a little bit crazy, like people are also making me feel validated. And I think some of these are resurfacing because I could help feel like maybe make other people feel validated too. We could all do it as a community, that we all feel, like we're not flipping crazy, because I totally feel crazy. I want you guys all to know that. I feel like this is all in my head and I'm insane, but I know this stuff happened too. Okay, so next, 8. The interference. What erased, suppressed the memories? What erased or suppressed the memories? What erased or suppressed the memories? What erased or suppressed my memory? So this would be the 6 of Swords. Intention. They intentionally erase my memories. And they intentionally erase the things, these thoughts, these ideas. Okay. And then the integration. How do I safely unlock? Oh, I can't read my own handwriting some days. How to safely unlock or unblock this process? How do I safely unlock this process? You know what? Let's go with the Martian Oracle, just because I feel like that might be the way to go with this. How do I unlock this process? And while I think these cards are cool, like I love the green borders, I do not like the back of them. There's just something, I can't explain it. I'm not a fan. But they're the coolest cards. You're my card. Alpha Centaurians. So this one talks about foresight, planning, and strategy. I am planning. I am having a bit of strategy in how I'm unlocking all of these things with my meditations, with like going and meeting Timothy and like learning all these different things. Like I think I'm starting to figure out how to like actually access the Akashic Records, even though I feel like I've been doing it my whole life with just like all the different like weird little things all the things I've seen, all the things I've known. I think one day I'll make a video about all of my weird fortune-telling experiences, because I've been a card reader for 30 years. I did palm reading for a long time too, and that stopped for a reason. And I think maybe I need to do some planning and figure this out. Have a little bit of foresight and come up with a strategy on how I can unlock myself a little bit further. Interesting. This is spreads. I love the spreads you guys come up with. I love doing a little bit deeper of a look into it as well. But that is going to be all for me right now. I want to thank everybody that's like involved with this tag. Please go check it out. Please make a response to this. I want to see everybody's alien stories or your thoughts on aliens. I definitely think they are definitely among us, and who knows, we might even be part alien too. But for now, that's all for me. So you guys have a great rest of your day, night, whatever it is, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.